We are talking about the weirdly named post-apocalyptic movie Solar Babies, also known as Solar Fighters. This one is directed by Aaran Johnson. It's got a pretty good cast, including Richard Jordan, Jamie Gertz and Jason Patric, who of course went on to star in Lost Boys a year later than this. You've also got Lucas Hask, Peter DeLuise. You've got appearances from a few other kind of genre faces, Bruce Payne, Alexis Sayo. So it's not a bad cast in regards to some science fiction pedigree here, but it's a weird ass story. Let's just no make bones about it. So the plot here focuses on a kind of dystopian future where there's virtually no water apparently. And we have this fascist Nazi-style government who is controlling said water, and they are in power, and they have these kind of orphanages which bring up young people to indoctrinate them into their kind of like their military-style police force. There are a few pockets of resistance here and there, and the movie focuses on our group of solar babies, which are essentially like this small group of friends who have this, I guess you want to call it like a roller hockey style sport that they play, and their team is called the Solar Babies. And the youngest member of the team, played by Lucas Haas, accidentally discovers this sphere which seems to be of alien origin that perhaps inspires our Solar Babies to strike out on their own and maybe change the fate of the world. What will happen? You have to watch the movie to find out. So let's talk about what works first of all. I feel this is kind of like a young adult movie before they were kind of popular. You know, before we had things like, you know, the Hunger Games and the like. This movie treads a very kind of similar path, but obviously in the mid-80s here. So it almost feels in a way like it's somewhat before its time, before that kind of genre, admittedly short-lived genre, really kind of hit its stride. You've got like some fun kind of characters here, and the weird like aesthetics are kind of bizarre. It has a Mad Max kind of feel to it, but we don't really know why people are rolling around on roller skates all the time. It appears to be the desert, but there seems to be lots of concreted flat surfaces and stuff for handily our heroes to kind of roll around on. Our group of protagonists are quite likeable people, I would say. You know, they're not massively well-drawn characters, it must be said, but you know, you've got the same type of chemistry between Jamie Gertz and Jason Patric that you did in the Lost Boys. So if you kind of want to repeat that, you may want to check it out as well. But I think the rest of the cast, Adrian Passar plays this like mysterious kind of outsider, so to speak, who may or may not be a friend. You know, again, the character is fairly pointless. Doesn't really get a lot of characterization to him, but nonetheless, he kind of looks cool. There are some kind of fun sequences. There's a sequence towards the end where they try to rescue this kind of orb, which they call Bodhi, from the bad guys, and there's this kind of like this huge torture machine robot thing, which is quite fun, I have to say. So there are a couple of fun set pieces, and it does have quite a cool 80s vibe to it. There seemed to be like a rash of like rollerblading movies in the 80s. There was a few that came out, you know, Rollerblade 7, things like that, Rollerblade, that came out, sort of post-apocalyptic roller skating movies. It was a flash in the pan sort of fad, and this was, I guess, the kind of the biggest budget version of that, but it really didn't do particularly well at the kind of the box office here. So the cast is pretty good, the acting is pretty good, there are kind of lots of kind of set pieces, a few different kind of locations. As I say, we get a kind of like Mad Max style, almost like a Fallout style place called Tire Town. So we do get a variety of the kind of the complex at the end with Sarah Douglas's evil doctor trying to break the sphere here. But I've got to say the plot is complete nonsense. It really is the most bizarrely written movie I've ever kind of watched in a lot of ways, because it just kind of skips over stuff. I mean, we just have to accept that there's this magic ball that can do whatever you want, really, and it just happens to be there. We have so many other kind of the plot points that are that are kind of like hinted at and kind of teased, but never really go anywhere. Jamie Gertz's father seems to be some type of mystic shaman type, and we see him, he pops up briefly and then we don't see him again. Darkstar, who is the character played by Adrian Bassar, this kind of mysterious outsider, and again, he's kind of origin hinted at, and then it's kind of dropped. So there's so many things here that just seem to be, we just have to accept, because it just, it shows us and then kind of just moves on and things like this. Even the kind of the main bulk of the plot, regardless of the subplots, just seems to kind of skip past certain logical things and doesn't really give you any context about why it is what it is. I think there's just way too many ideas in this movie. It's certainly an enjoyable mess of a film. Our characters are likeable. The cinematography is pretty good, I have to say. There's not really a lot of action here. Our group of protagonists only ever have hockey sticks for weapons. So there's any fights that they use are going to be pretty much have to be hand to hand, and yet they still manage to overcome the bad guys in pretty much every scene. Richard Jordan's quite fun as our lead bad guy, this kind of like commissioner of this police force. He's kind of quite fun, really hamming it up, I've got to say, but a lot of the actors are. Overall, it's a bit of a messy movie, to be honest, and it doesn't make a lick of sense, to be honest, and but it can still be enjoyed for its fun post-apocalyptic, somewhat family affair. So if you want to watch a kind of a Mad Max movie, but you know, maybe you have a younger audience, then you may want to check it out. I mean, it does have some cool like vehicle designs, and our kind of stormtrooper guys look pretty good. Yeah, it's just a bit of a hodgepodge, to be honest. I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.